Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel. We have a hot subject at the moment here. The hot subject is basically the prop cruncher. We are talking about proprietary trading, and in this particular case here, we have now entered the phase 2. We have a couple of videos out on this particular EA already. We're going to go through this today, but more importantly, we're going to figure out also how you can actually get started and how long it would take you to get to the $200,000 accounts, or even bigger. There is plenty out there where you can trade all the way up to about $1 million. We're going to have a look and see exactly how you can get started and how little you can get started with, and all of this in this particular video. So we better get started. And the first part that I basically just want to tell you a bit here is we're going to have a look at the cost for the individual accounts. Again, there's many different FTMO accounts or proprietary trading accounts. We are looking at one of the big ones, the FTMO, the one we have also basically performed the first beta test and now the phase 2 test on. So that makes more sense that we continue to do it on this one. We're going to show you also what you can expect profit from each account that you will have, and then also how you can actually obtain one of these $200,000 proprietary trading accounts with as little as $200. And we're also going to have a look also regarding the investment options. How can you actually, jump from one account to the next one? How fast can you do this? And by our calculations, which we're going to show you in this particular video here, you can go as low as about 3 months. Obviously, again, it depends on the range of items, both on the cost for the individual proprietary trading accounts. It also requires, obviously, how much profit you can get out of each account in here, how well your EA is set up. Now, we have made quite a few videos already. This is going to be the 4th video. So from the prop cruncher video selection in here. So if you're interested in how this actually works behind the scenes, some of the tests that we have done in previous weeks, then these are the videos that you should have a look at. We'll make sure also that we have a video link in there that will take you over so you can find our entire playlist here. Now, if we have a quick look at what exactly we're going to do, we also just want to put in a couple of things. We get a lot of questions on the prop cruncher EA here. And the first one that, once again, I want to basically just emphasize to you is you cannot buy this EA yet. We mentioned before it is in beta testing, then it was now in phase 2 testing. And the only way you can basically trade this EA at the moment is you can become a Premium Forum member within Expert4X, and then you can link up with those accounts in there. So it is a copy link service only right now. We do not know exactly if it's going to be released as an individual EA, similar to what you have seen with other EAs or robots from Expert4X. Alex will tell us in due time. And the last part here, because we get a lot of comments every single time we post some of these videos here, we have the FTMO police or proprietary trading police saying, this will not work. Other one says it does. It is entirely up to you. So this is not an individual promotion of either FTMO services, or you can use this, not linked at all with the proprietary trading or FTMO. You can trade it on your own accord separately. You don't have to set it up as we are discussing here today. So you may or may not be allowed to trade this on the prop companies here. You have to look at their terms and conditions before you put your money in there and invest in the first accounts. And that is pretty much what I'm going to tell you here. The important part is, how do we get started? What is the cost? What can you expect? So let's jump straight into this. So the details we have taken on this particular Excel is basically the details from our FTMO. So if we set up a challenge within that, it goes anything from $10,000 all the way up to $200,000. And we have gone in and had a look at the cost, exactly what they are charging. And if we start off on the Excel with the $10,000 here, we can see the cost in here is $172.24. So that is the part in order to take the challenge. And we have just broken it down in a percentage wise, so cost versus account balance. So the cost itself is 1.72% of that account balance. Or in other words, where it might be easier to get, is cost per $1,000 you are allowed to trade. It's going to cost you $17.22. Obviously, as bigger you go, normally you get a discount, and that is also the case in here. The $25,000 account is going to cost you $277.81. Also here, account balance will be cost per 1,000 is now running a bit lower at $11.11. The 50,000 one here is at a cost $383.37. And also here it gets even cheaper per 1,000, so down to 7.67. And then we're getting to the very interesting ones, the $100,000 accounts. It's going to cost you $600.06 to take this particular challenge on here. And that is basically cost per 1,000 is $6. And for the 200,000, it's basically double up. So $1,200.13 to do this, or $6 per 1,000. So it basically evens out at the end of the day. Obviously, it is a lot of money if you want to start off with the 200,000, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. But we know, of course, that a lot of our viewers, they don't have that kind of money to get started. And basically the best way to get yourself in here is obviously get yourself a $10,000 account. You can get that for less than $200. Some of them are even cheaper than what you see here. Some are a bit more expensive. But let's run through some of the calculations we have in here. The first part is obviously the income and what we are basing all this on. So below you see the income, profits per month. We have actually set that right in the middle. We know that there's no timeline anymore where we have to produce 10% every single month in order to keep the accounts. The timeline has been taken away, and that means we can focus basically on the drawdowns themselves a lot more. And that means also that maybe a 5% is a reasonable part. And then also we talk about profit sharing. Again, this varies from company to company, but we have set it at 80% because that seems to be a good average when we look at different companies in here. Some of them go even up to 90%, but obviously we are trying to basically show you how you can start off with a small little account of $10,000 that's going to cost you less than $200, and then get to the end of the big glory accounts here of $200,000 or even bigger, depending on what accounts you have. So at the bottom part, you can now see the account balance you are trading, and it has also calculated the total profit that you would get out after a month of trading this. So a $10,000 account, you will get $500. Trader's share will then be 80% of that, so that's $400. And you can see that starting to become very, very interesting here. With $25,000, you get $1,200 in total profits, and you get $1,000. When you get up to the double, you also get the double of the trading share, so $2,000 in here. And then with $100,000, trader's share is $4,000, and at 200, you're getting $8,000. And obviously now all of a sudden it becomes very, very interesting, because this is not only for 1 month, this is for continuous basis. And a lot of people around the world obviously has a lot less monthly income. But again, you can of course develop multiple accounts, not within the companies themselves. That's not allowed. You might have a personal account and you might have a company account, but that's pretty much it. You're only allowed one account, normally either per company or per person. But there is about 90 other companies out there, so you can simply build it up. Now, if we have a look at a balanced account here, so of the $10,000, and again, we take into consideration the profits per month, 5%, and the profit share of 80%. The total profit after the first month would be $500. The trading share would be $400. And at the end of the day, the trading cost that you had was the $172.24. That would bring the trader's balance up into a positive still of $227.76. So obviously you can continue to do that. You can continue to stay on this particular account, but it is all about trying to get to the next levels. And obviously, as you saw here before on the income side, try to do even better than last month. Now you have already spent 172 the first time. You got it back again here with the $400. So it might be a good idea if you actually invest in the next level. Try for the $25,000 account, and that will cost you 277. Now, obviously, yes, you don't have that left over. If you have to do that calculation, you can put another $50 in there and then cover the cost overall. And if you do that, you basically end up after the next month, hopefully, if we continue to assume here, you're making 5% average a month with the same profit share. And the total profit on that particular account would be $1,250. The trader share would be $1,000 at the end of the day. And obviously, depending on how you actually funded this, if you use that from previous month, you can take the trading cost off or not. It's entirely up to you how you want to calculate this. But for the first month, you would have to incur the cost of setting up the new account, taking the challenge. And that means your trader's balance will be up to $722, and obviously not considering what you had in previous month. And again, here you now have enough money to either go to the next level, so actually 50,000, which only costs 383, or you can actually jump straight over to the $100,000 challenge, and that costs you 600. And you are already risk-free at that particular time. So it might be an opportunity, or if you are wanting to build this up slowly but surely, and that is what we want to do in this particular video here. You can always jump the steps. There's nothing that says that you can't do that. So the $50,000 should then provide overall $2,500 in profits. You as a trader share would get $2,000. And again, you would have to incur that particular cost to set up the accounts of $383.37. But also that particular cost, once again, you will end up with $1,616. So again, you have the choice here now. Do I want to go for a $100,000 account, which only costs $600? Or now that I have made more than 1,600 plus the previous month, is it worth jumping straight to the 200,000? If you continue on the $100,000 route here, then obviously again 5% of the 100,000 is 5,000. The trader will get 4,000 in here, and obviously you have already paid to take the challenge, so that was 600. So for the first month, that means that you will end up with about 3,400 at the end of the day. And again, for that, there's no reason why you shouldn't go back or up to the last level for the total balance in here of 200,000. And obviously you can see here that even 5% on a $200,000 account is going to provide you $10,000 a month. Trader's share is again 80%, so you will get 8,000. And the trading cost for that particular challenge you have taken will be 1,200. And again, this is only for the first month. Once you are in and accepted, you don't have to pay that every single month. And that is definitely the understanding I have from every proprietary trading companies that I've seen so far. Now the trader balance, obviously when you have paid the monthly fee in here, you will still have a nice surplus of $6,799. And that is obviously excellent. Now the month after, as I mentioned here before, once you have taken the challenge, once you have actually managed it, from there on you can continue to trade those particular accounts. There is not a monthly trading fee that you have to pay on top of this. It is basically, if you're in with the challenge, then that is your account size. Now, obviously, it gets interesting. You can always play around with all these different numbers, and that's also why we are running this in a spreadsheet here today. And if we take something as simple as saying 6% up might be a bit more interesting. You can already see that the $307 that you're going to be making out of the 10,000 account will fully cover the $25,000 account in here. You will have around $30 left over at the end of the day. And when you then trade that one, you end up with $900. And if you then, on top of this, if you have already paid with that particular money, obviously you have $1,200 out. And with that, you can pretty much reach the $200,000 account. Or if you want, make a step for the $100,000 first and then jump on previously. Now, don't forget that you don't have to pay the trader's cost anymore. So this is only for the first month. So basically when you're entering a new challenge, then you have to pay for that particular challenge. After that, there shouldn't be any particular fees in here. But again, check your terms and conditions with your proprietary trading companies. There might be a small monthly fee on some, others don't have that. So just be aware of it. But this definitely shows you what is possible and how fast you can actually get there. Now, obviously, the question is this actually achievable? You know, we are talking about 5% profits, as I mentioned here to you before. And for that, we can just head over to the phase 2 prop retrievers that we have running at the moment, just to see the overall profits and how well they are doing at the moment. Now, the best place for all the information that we have gathered is our website, and we are currently on our portfolio page here. You can see on the top part we have the prop cruncher. So if we click that particular one, we get more details on the EA itself, also what currency pairs it is trading. You can see the individual videos that I mentioned to you earlier in this video. And then we get to the first phase 1 up here, where we have similar accounts to what I'm showing you here today, 200,000, 50 and 10. And that will lead you to the FXBlue sites. It also has a reference to the Expert Forex, so where you can actually find this. And then the lot factor we have put in 1:1, and here's 1:0.23, and then 1:1, and then you also have our FTMO accounts here. Now these are finalized, and you can go in and have a closer look. It didn't go so well, but that's the whole idea of beta testing. And now we actually have come to these particular accounts. And this is now for the phase 2 in here. And we have the FXBlue accounts at 200,000, 50 and 10 also here. So same format. We also have the same references that you can go back and have a look at with Expert Forex. And you can see the lot factor we are using. So that means also when you look at FXBlue on the Expert Forex site, you will see that they are trading 1:1, of course, and we have decided to go a bit higher with a slightly higher profit, might also be slightly higher drawdown, and then we can actually adjust it from there. And then here you have your FTMO accounts that we're also going to have a look at in this particular video. But starting off with the $200,000 account here, we go to the FXBlue. And the reason for that is obviously we want to have a closer look to see what is the percentage that we have managed so far. Is the 5% that I told you about earlier, is that actually realistic? So the account is up with the balance. You can see the equity in here also, close profit 2,800, monthly return, and this is again FXBlue as calculated based on the trades that we have now, because we haven't traded that for that long. If we have to look at it, you can see the history, 12 days old, trades per day 3.8, but it is telling us here that monthly returns should be around 5.9%, weekly returns 1.4. So that is basically what we're looking at. You can also see the individual currency pairs that are being traded and how much is percentage wise in here. If we go to the $50,000, we can also have a look down here and see this one here, total return 0.5% so far. Monthly returns is expected to be at 4.9, so pretty much on the par with the 5% I mentioned to you here before. Weekly return 1.1%, and again also trading history 12 days old here. The last one is our $10,000 account, and that particular one has a total return of 0.6%. Monthly returns is 3.6 at the moment, so that is a bit on the lower side. And weekly returns is 0.9, and that obviously means that we can make a couple of adjustments. Now the adjustments I'm talking about here is that if we are having a bit of a low profit, especially as you saw on the $10,000 account, it's below 5%. The lot factor, you can actually increase that one. And if you have too high of a profit, which could then damage the drawdowns, you can then lower the lot factor over here. But let's first have a look at the FTMO accounts to see exactly where we are with the drawdowns, because you shouldn't change anything until we know that part. So the first part, we are going to basically click on the 200,000 accounts. You can see it in here, and there's also a bit of an update on this number of trades, 35 here so far. You can see when we started the FTMO account, when it's going to end. Again, account size, it's a swing account, and we are going to go and have a look at the today permitted loss. Now this always changes on a daily basis. It also mentions here again that this value indicates the amount of permitted loss buffer you have on a given day relative to the current equity of your accounts, which means that obviously as you trade, things are changing, and then it tells you today's permitted loss will be reset in about almost 10 hours in here, and then you'll get a new number, what is permitted loss for that particular day. You have the max permitted loss in here, and again based on the equity account. So when you start off with a $200,000 account, that would be 20,000. Now that the equity has gone up, you have a bit more to go. Today's profits, again, this is profit and loss. This is not the balance itself. This is the equity, and that's why you can see the profit is a bit low at the moment. Let's go and have a look at the results. Minimum trading days. Now we're up to 7. We have passed that one so far. Here comes the most important part. That is the max daily loss of $10,000. You can see the biggest account here has been quite close, 4.17. So that is a bit too high maybe, and that's why we might want to adjust the factor in here that I mentioned to you before, 1.2. We might have to take it down to 1 to 1 here instead. That might take the 6% down to 5, but definitely we don't want to blow the accounts, and that's how you should actually adjust them. And then we have the max loss. Now we are far from the max loss. It looks good with the EA so far. And profit targets, obviously the more you get, the better it is. Right now, we don't really have any particular target anymore. We have as long as we want to get those particular parts, except this is not a challenge. This is basically just a 2-week test to see how it runs. But when you get to the challenge, you have all the time in the world here to get the individual percentage. So all you have to focus on is the max daily loss. And we can see the profits in here. It's quite good every single day. 400, almost 600, 600, 620, 338, 800, and 308. So definitely this is a very nice profitable account so far. But obviously we don't like the drawdown too much, so we might have to go and change that one just slightly. The next one we're going to have a look at is the $50,000 accounts. In here, the profit has to be 2,500, as you can see, and also started at the same time, end of July. We are done with this particular test on the 13th of August. Account size 50,000, swing account again here. And again, today permitted loss, it will tell you. Also here it is 9 hours and 53 minutes and 44 seconds. And those you have to abide by. Those are the most important ones we have. Maximum trading days 2, we're up to 7. Maximum daily loss, and again, this is the important one, as I mentioned to you before. We can max go to minus 2,500. We've been up at 1,700. That is the max so far, and that is 3.44%, and that is actually perfect. So I think that is a lot better where we're supposed to be. There is room for margin error, everything else in here. So that might be the one, and that's also the account as you saw with FXBlue before. That was just around 4.9%, so the 5% we are looking for. Maximum loss 5,000. We are far from it, 1,200 only. So again, the only one that is the real difficult one to master is the max daily loss. That one looks perfect on this one. If we have a look at the individual days, we see that the EA goes well. There's profit every single day, and that is basically what you want to see. so that we can get to the end of the month, not necessarily with 10%, but we can get there with 5, 6, or even 4, as long as we can upgrade every single time to a new account. So let's go and have a look at the last one, the $10,000 account. Again, it is here. Profits we're looking for is $500. As I said, normally you have all the time in the world to get to that one. This is a small test, so it's not the challenge we have. Account size 10,000, swing accounts, and today's permitted loss again is $435. Max permitted loss 1,045, and today's profit is in minus because of the equity in here. We can see the minimum trading days 7, so all of them have been started at the same time. Max daily loss, we have not even used half of it, and that obviously shows you that maybe the lot factor on this particular one is a bit on the low side, only 2.4%. We're only using half of it. You might want to go up to somewhere around 1.3, 1.4, and then try and see where it gets to. So obviously we want to have a bit of profit also, and not just limit the drawdown. So again, a very good balance. And if we can aim for something like 3.5% maybe, that will be pretty much where we feel safe, if you can talk about that in trading. Now overall, the trading every single day is also here positive, so that is absolutely perfect. And things on the testing itself seems to be going better and better, but that's exactly why you have the different phases of trading. So as you can see, we have some excellent results so far on the trading of the prop cruncher. Definitely all the 3 accounts is looking quite good. They might need some small adjustments here and there, as I mentioned to you before, but this was also to show you not only the details and information as to how we are trading the prop cruncher at the moment, but also how you can actually start your own proprietary trading career in here with as little as $200 and then build it on. Basically take the next challenge and then use the money that you have made from these individual accounts to reach the next level. This is definitely something that we're going to do a lot more of once we are done with some of the testing. And as you can see, those testing goes to pretty much the middle of the month of August here, and from there on basically we most probably going to start taking some of all these challenges here. We're going to show you, how we're going to start off with a $10,000 account and then build it on, similar to what we have tried to show you here in this particular video. There is definitely options of going straight on the $200,000 account. It depends on how much money you are willing to risk in here, but definitely if you want to try and set a few of them up, there's no doubt about it that it looks good with the prop cruncher. If you can, again, make sure that you don't get too greedy. You keep within the 5%, maybe similar to what I have shown you here. Obviously it will be great if you get 6 or 8%, but there's also a bigger chance that you will have an increased drawdown. And again, that is all what matters nowadays, since the timeline itself has been taken off. Now, don't forget that this is not trading advice. This is not investment advice. And also there might be rules and regulations within the individual FTMOs that you have to be aware of. So make sure you read everything through before you start paying for the individual challenges again. And this all depends on the companies that you are set up with, how they work, how they operate, what they will allow and don't allow. And if you are not sure, and if you don't want to obviously invest in any of this, then there's always the possibility of simply using the prop cruncher as your normal trading tool. Obviously this could be even better than the profit retriever because it seems to be a bit more control on the drawdown itself, and you can simply just use that on your trading accounts. You don't have to go to the FTMO, of course, but there is less risk at the end of the day, where you're not trading your own money, and there is a huge reward. So it's entirely up to you how you want to attack what I have shown you here today. But I do hope that you will have some good experiences and that you would also share some of those future experiences with us. So please give us a comments and a like, and please try and show us some of the results that you have managed with the prop cruncher in the future. So until next video, bye. Bye-bye.